At the bottom of the sea, where the sunlight barely reached and the pressure was immense, there lived a little fish named Finley. Finley was a curious fish, with scales that shimmered like the brightest jewels in the ocean's treasure trove. He loved to explore the coral reefs, playing hide and seek among the wavy sea fans and chasing schools of sparkling fish. One day, while Finley was swimming near a particularly colorful reef, he stumbled upon a hidden cave. The entrance was guarded by a wise old sea turtle named Krusty, who had been watching Finley's antics from afar. "Ah, young Finley," Krusty said in a slow, rumbling voice. "I've been waiting for you. You seem like a fish with a sense of adventure. Are you ready to embark on a journey that will take you to the farthest reaches of the ocean?" Quote, Finley's eyes grew wide with excitement. "Really? What kind of journey?" Quote, Krusty smiled, his shell creaking with age. "Follow me, Finley, but be warned. This journey will take you to places most fish have never seen. Are you prepared to face the unknown?" Quote, Finley nodded eagerly, and Krusty led him through the winding cave. They swam past schools of bioluminescent fish, their bodies glowing like tiny lanterns in the dark. They navigated through kelp forests, where giant seaweed stalks swayed like giant tentacles. And they even crossed a vast, sandy plain, where Finley marveled at the countless shells and treasures buried beneath the surface. As they journeyed deeper into the ocean, Finley began to notice that the water was growing colder and darker. He could feel the pressure increasing, and his ears began to ache from the change in pressure. Krusty noticed Finley's discomfort and slowed their pace. "We're approaching the edge of the abyssal plain," Krusty said, his voice low and mysterious. "The water here is treacherous, and the creatures that live here are unlike any you've ever seen. But don't worry, Finley, I'll be with you every fin flick of the way." As they entered the abyssal plain, Finley was struck by the eerie silence. There were no schools of fish, no chirping of seabirds, and no gentle lapping of waves against the shore. The only sound was the creaking of the water itself, like an old wooden ship settling into its berth. Krusty led Finley through the darkness, their lights casting flickering shadows on the seafloor. They swam past giant squid, their tentacles stretching like ghostly fingers across the sand. They navigated through fields of hydrothermal vents, where superheated water spewed forth from the earth, supporting an otherworldly array of creatures that thrived in the harsh conditions. As they swam deeper, Finley began to notice that the creatures around him were changing. They were larger, more alien, and more terrifying than anything he had ever seen before. There were giant isopods, their shells as hard as steel, scuttling across the seafloor. There were anglerfish, their bioluminescent lures on top of their heads glowing like tiny suns. And there were even giant sharks, their fins slicing through the water like scimitars. Finley's heart was racing, but Krusty remained calm and steady. "Don't worry, Finley," he said, as if reading Finley's thoughts. "These creatures are not as scary as they seem. They're just trying to survive in this harsh environment, just like we are." As they continued their journey, Finley began to notice that the darkness was slowly giving way to a faint, blue-green glow. He looked up to see a vast expanse of ocean stretching out before him, the surface shimmering like a sheet of molten glass. "Welcome to the Haddle Zone, Finley," Krusty said, his voice full of wonder. "This is the deepest, darkest part of the ocean, where the pressure is crushing and the light is scarce. But it's also a place of incredible beauty, where life finds a way to thrive in the most inhospitable conditions." Finley's eyes grew wide as he gazed out at the endless expanse of water. He had never seen anything so breathtakingly beautiful in his life. He felt tiny and insignificant, yet at the same time, he felt connected to the vast, mysterious universe that lay beyond the reach of his fins. As they swam deeper into the Haddle Zone, Finley began to notice that the creatures around him were changing once again. They were smaller, more delicate, and more fragile than the monsters they had encountered earlier. There were giant jellyfish, their translucent bodies glowing like lanterns in the darkness. There were even tiny fish, their scales shimmering like diamonds in the faint light. Finley's heart was full of wonder and awe. He had never imagined that such a place existed, let alone that he would be able to see it with his own eyes. He felt grateful to Krusty for bringing him on this incredible journey, and he knew that he would never forget this experience as long as he lived. As they swam back towards the surface, Finley turned to Krusty with a question. "What's the purpose of this journey, Krusty? Why did you bring me to the deepest part of the ocean?" Quote, Krusty smiled, his shell creaking with age. "I brought you here, Finley, to show you the wonders of the ocean. I brought you here to remind you of the incredible diversity and beauty that exists in this vast, mysterious universe. And I brought you here to remind you that even in the darkest, most inhospitable places, life finds a way to thrive." Finley nodded, his heart full of gratitude. He knew that he would never forget this journey, and he knew that he would always cherish the memories of the incredible creatures and landscapes he had seen. As they broke through the surface, Finley felt the warm sunlight on his scales, and he looked up at the blue sky above. He felt a sense of peace and contentment wash over him, and he knew that he had been changed forever by this incredible journey to the bottom of the sea. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.